New York City has a generational opportunity to reimagine 122 acres on the Brooklyn waterfront into a modern maritime port with community-facing amenities, including much-needed housing and green space. For the last 45 years, an ineffective tri-party agreement governing Brooklyn Marine Terminal resulted in underinvestment and left the port in dire disrepair. In May 2024, New York City Mayor Eric Adams and New York Governor Kathy Hochul announced an agreement. New York City Economic Development Corporation assumed control of the Brooklyn Marine Terminal, and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey will expand Howland Hook Marine Terminal in Staten Island, right-sizing roles and responsibilities. Because these are regional port assets, the city will receive full land ownership of Brooklyn Marine Terminal, and the Port Authority will receive full land ownership of Howland Hook through a State General Project Plan, or GPP. A task force led by U.S. Representative Dan Goldman, State Senator Andrew Gennardez, and New York City Council member Alexa Aviles will produce a master plan by the end of the first quarter of 2025. To support in the execution of the master plan, the city, state, and federal governments have made initial commitments of over $250 million for new bulkheads as well as a new crane and cold storage for food arriving in the port. Most community members have never been behind the fences of Brooklyn Marine Terminal. Of the 122 acres today, approximately half is used for maritime-related business and half for non-maritime uses. Here is an overview of the current condition. Pier 7. The longest pier at Brooklyn Marine Terminal, Pier 7, is 1,100 feet long. There are 5 acres of warehouses here, the equivalent of 3.5 football fields. Manhattan Beer is the current tenant. By moving products by waterway in the future, we can remove trucks from the road. Pier 8. Pier 8 spans nearly 6 acres and is the site of a U.S. Customs inspection facility, which inspects containers brought in through the Red Hook Container Terminal. Additionally, Mainline Bunkering leases the north side of the pier to berth their empty fuel barges. Piers 9A and 9B. Piers 9A and 9B were built on timber piles in the 1950s. Due to the age of the timber and impacts of marine borers, these 2 piers were put out of commission in 2023. Across the site, there is underutilized land used for non-maritime purposes, such as storing hotel modules and abandoned cars and boats. Through an engagement process, non-maritime uses and vacant buildings on the site can be reimagined for other purposes. Pier 10. Pier 10 is home to the Red Hook Container Terminal, which brings approximately 60,000 containers of goods per year into the city, 1.4% of container activity in New York Harbor. Half of the containers that come into Brooklyn are barged to New Jersey. Pier 10 has 4 cranes. The 2 center cranes are operational and are used to load and unload container ships as well as barges. The northern and southernmost cranes are currently out of commission. Pier 11. Pier 11 includes shed space partially occupied by D&M Lumber, as well as staff parking. This pier is the future home of NYC Ferry's Homeport 2, a facility for the storage and maintenance of NYC Ferry vessels. Pier 12. Pier 12 is home to the Red Hook Landing for NYC Ferry. Pier 12 also hosts the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal that opened in April 2006. Brooklyn Cruise Terminal was the first shore power system for cruise ships installed on the East Coast and currently serves Cunard's Queen Mary II. As a result of growth in the size of ships, others cannot currently connect, but additional investments are being made to allow ships of all sizes to utilize shore power here. A robust engagement and planning process is underway to unlock the potential of the Brooklyn Marine Terminal. A key issue for the task force to consider is how much of the non-maritime space should be used for community amenities in the future, including financially viable projects focused on housing, green space, flood resiliency, and an improved transportation network. Share your thoughts on the future of the Brooklyn Marine Terminal and participate in the community engagement process. Learn more at edc.nyc/bmt.